So we have essentially 4 basic firearm safety rules. Number 1, muzzle management. Number 2, trigger finger discipline. Number 3, know the status of your weapon. And number 4, have some situational awareness.
Here's the thing, that hot brass that gets kicked out of the gun sometimes can find its way in the most unfortunate places possible. What I don't want to see is this, what we call it the hot brass dance, all right? You're up there shooting, all of a sudden you feel that very uncomfortable burning down the back of your neck is, oh my gosh, Jesus, what was that, right? Because what did you just do? You just muzzled everybody on the line, all right? Basic rules of firearm safety, first and most important is muzzle management. Knowing where my muzzle's pointing at all times, this allows me to be aware of where the bullet comes out of the gun, that muzzle, I need to know where that's pointing at all times. Can't be pointing at any people or at any property that could cause damage to it.
That's a huge responsibility. Understanding that you, as the person with the gun in your hand, are ultimately responsible to have the best muzzle management you possibly can given the environment that you're in. What makes it more complex is that the environment may change in an instant on you because it's out of your control. It's your responsibility to change with it in that instant. Huge, huge, huge responsibility anytime you pick a gun up. Muzzle management, number 1. Number 2, trigger finger discipline. Your ability to keep your finger off the trigger, high up on the frame, indexed on the frame or slide of the gun, so that there's no room for error with it slipping in there inadvertently. If my sights come off target, my finger needs to come off the trigger first. Just a good rule of thumb. Make sense?
Here at SIG, we say off the trigger is high up on the slide, all right? If my finger's here, it's still not off the trigger. As I've got fairly short fingers, right? It won't take much for my finger to slip inside that trigger guard. So we say high up on the slide. I actually put a little bit of pressure in on the gun. This tells me, all right, I know exactly where my finger is. That way, if something startles me, all I'm doing is pushing into the gun.
Whether or not you've recognized it, you have been training yourself to do this probably the majority of your life as an American. Cap guns, squirt guns, Nerf guns, that old Nintendo duck hunt gun. What do you do with those when you roll up to a birthday party? You pick it up, put your finger on the trigger, and you start having the time of your life. That's training. I would call that a training scar, but it's training nonetheless. Those 3 things are hard habits to break when it comes to holding a pistol safely when you start this journey. In combination with muzzle management, it makes it impossible for there to be a gun problem. There is no way for the round to discharge negligently and impact something you are not intending for it to impact if you have muzzle management and trigger finger discipline squared away from the get-go.
Also, I need to know the status of my firearm. Is it loaded? Unloaded? Are there rounds in the magazine? Is the magazine in the gun? How many rounds are in that magazine, right? I can have a round in the chamber, but no magazine in the gun.
Chamber, magwell, slide face. Go away, do it again. Chamber, magwell, and slide face. That gun is unloaded. It's a visual and physical check. It is done the same way every time, and that way there is no room for error. I know definitively at the end of my status check that the gun is in the configuration I need it to be in, undoubtedly. Touch the trigger, take the slack out. Just touch it. Fire when you're ready. Last but not least, having situational awareness is profoundly important. I need to understand that I cannot control my environment, but it is my responsibility to maintain situational awareness and understand if my environment is about to change on me. The more apt I am at controlling things within myself, the better prepared I am to change in the instant that it changes on me and maintain profound gun safety throughout that entire process.